Dan Deming of KKM Financial is here to kick off our trading day. An interesting action to talk about. What do you make of the Russell rallying on Friday where the broader market was subdued and down?
Yeah, well, the Russell, like most of the other major averages, did come under some weakness in the middle to later part of the week. So, I think that possibly was a catalyst for why we saw the other major averages, find some stability. But overall, Angie, it's really the market's really queuing off of the news coming out of Washington, and so there could be a perspective there that some of this tax reform, particularly when the Senate proposal hit the market last week, that might be beneficial for the smaller caps, for the U.S.-centric stocks more so than the larger caps or international stocks.
What do you have your eye on this week? Because we do have some major retailers reporting in, including Home Depot and Walmart.
We do, and interestingly enough, JCPenney last week kind of bucked the trend.
Right.
So so that was very interesting. So we'll see. There is earnings in retail. That's certainly been a market that's been under duress for the better part of this year.
Absolutely.
So that will be interesting if this JCPenney thing will have some strength moving into this week. Second of all, we also have we have PPI, CPI, retail sales. We have a lot of numbers this week, coupled with the fact of news continuing to flow out of DC. So there's some things to watch this week. And one thing I do want to bring up, Angie, something we watched closely last week was the high yield space, the high yield bond market, the junk bond market, as they like to call it. Look at some of those ETFs and indexes out there, JNK being one of them. Some serious pressure in that space right now. We saw a repricing of interest rates late last week as well. So I think that's something else that you got to pay attention to if you're going to be involved in the market this week.
That could be a sign of a downward move potentially in the market.
It could. Well, it's a resetting of that yield curve a little bit, and also some concerns, I think, when you look into the high yield space, that maybe some of this, some of the demand there is waning, and therefore we're seeing the rates across the board kind of picking up a little bit. And that could, definitely could parlay itself into the equity markets, and that's why I think part of the reason, couple that with the news coming out of DC last week, and I think that's why we saw some of the weakness that we did.
Thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me, Angie.